The sky had changed color. It was midday, yet the sun's light had grown dim, as if some great shadow, some immense cloud, was hovering over the entire village, like that silence that comes before a storm, a silence that says more than words ever could, a silence that dissolves into the air and carves a river of fear into the human chest. And then the sound came, first from far away, very far away, a sound that at first seemed like nothing more than the rustling of wind, then closer, then so close that the earth itself began to tremble, a sound that makes every vein in the human body shiver, a sound more terrifying than the heartbeat of the earth itself, a sound that reminds you that beneath the walls built by humanity, we still live at the mercy of nature, that no matter how powerful we believe ourselves to be, when nature shows its hand, we are nothing. We are nothing but clay figures. We are nothing but guests living upon the earth, a locust swarm, the largest swarm in years. The elders said that a swarm like this had not been seen since the time of their great-grandfathers, one that had destroyed an entire city in a single night, one that had turned green fields into deserts of sand, one that had carved such deep lines of wrinkles into the faces of mothers and fathers that they forgot how to smile for the rest of their lives, one that had forced an entire generation to starve to death, one that had emptied the stomachs of children, one that had shattered the hopes of the elderly. And it was coming toward our village, toward me. I stood there, behind my four walls in my small courtyard. My eyes were lifted toward that changing sky. Where once there had been blue sky, now there was an immense sea of golden and black mist, like some living thing, like some enemy swimming through the air, advancing toward its target to attack, like some immense army that had set out to destroy a nation, like some flood that spares no one. But my heart was turned toward that wall, the wall along which I had planted those flowers, those sunflower flowers, with their long, long stems, with their golden petals, like tiny suns that had descended upon the earth. Everyone who saw them would stop. Everyone would say how beautiful they were. But then those same people, those same neighbors, those same relatives, those same neighbors who had first praised them, would then stroke their mustaches and say what a waste of time the poor widow had made. What had she done with her land? How she had ruined her life. Those people who even today said that I had planted these flowers only to look at, only to make things beautiful, only to paint my four walls with color, only to keep myself happy, they were now hiding in their huts, their hands pressed against their ashen faces as they prayed, weeping to save their fields, anxious with worry about how to fill their children's stomachs. What did they know? What did they know that those flowers which seemed like foolishness to them, which seemed like wasted time, which seemed like the madness of a widow, would today save their lives, would today save their fields, would today fill their children's stomachs, would today save the roofs of their homes, would today save their lives. But I knew, I had always known. And now, as that locust swarm had reached the edge of our village, as that first wave was about to engulf our green fields in its fury, I closed my eyes above my four walls and I thought about that day, the day I had made this decision, the day I had started planting these flowers. From that day until today, everyone had thought me a fool. Everyone had pointed fingers at me. Everyone had said that poor widow Zahra, now her mind has stopped working too. Now she only loves flowers. Now she doesn't care about crops. Now she is wasting her land. Now she is ruining her life. But all of that, I would reveal now. Today I would reveal it. Today the whole world would know why I had planted these flowers, why I had sown these sunflowers along my four walls, why I had raised this golden wall among my fields, why I had grown upon my land something that seemed to have no benefit, something from which no bread could be made, something from which no debt could be paid. And when this was known, perhaps those people would learn to keep their mouths shut. Perhaps they would understand that sometimes the thing that seems most beautiful is also the most necessary. Perhaps they would understand that sometimes the thing that seems useless is the most useful thing of all. Perhaps they would understand that being a widow is not a disease, that being a widow is not a weakness, that a widow can think too, that a widow can do too, that a widow can change the world too. My story begins 2 years ago, the day my husband passed away. That day is still before my eyes, like some old film that plays again and again, like some wound that never heals, like some pain that buries a dagger in your back and then refuses to come out. My husband, my Iqbal, who loved the earth, who said that the earth is like a mother. If you honor her, she will nourish you and help you grow. But if you reject her, she will reject you too. Who said that planting a crop is not just work, it is worship. It is an expression of love for nature. It is a way of accepting the earth as your own. It is a feeling of accepting the earth as your mother. Iqbal had taught me all of this. He had told me what the earth's rustling says. He had shown me how an entire world lies hidden within a single seed, how a tiny seed can become the hope of vast fields, how a tiny seed can keep an entire generation alive, how a tiny seed can change a widow's life, how a tiny seed can change the fate of a village. But when he left, my world was destroyed. I was just a widow who had been left alone behind her 4 walls. I had no in-laws, I had no children, only me and my land, my 4 acres of land, upon which Iqbal had spent his life, upon which he had grown crops with his blood and sweat, upon which he had sown the seeds of his hopes, upon which he had harvested the crops of his happiness, upon which he had raised the walls of his dreams. And people wondered what I would do now. Those people who used to come to my house, who used to be friends with my husband, who used to place their feet upon the threshold of my home, now they would lower their eyes even as they passed my door, as if being a widow was some disease, as if being a widow was some crime, as if I was no longer of any use, as if I was no longer part of life, as if I was nothing at all. Poor Zahra, they would say. What will become of her now? Without Iqbal, she cannot do anything at all. She will surely be sold off now. Either she will leave the village, or someone will seize her land. A woman alone, 4 acres of land, how will she manage? She will surely be sold off now. Either she will leave the village, or someone will seize her land. Iqbal grew good crops. But now he is no more. Now this widow just keeps crying. Now this widow just keeps hiding inside her 4 walls. I heard these words. Every day I heard them. When I went to the bazaar, I heard them. When I returned from the mosque, I heard them. Even inside my own home, when I opened the window, these words would come riding upon the gusts of wind and touch me, like some poisonous air, like some disease that seeps into the chest, like some poison that dissolves into every vein. But I was silent. I never answered, because I knew that answering is easy. But showing is difficult. I decided that I would answer them with my work, with my crops, with my labor, with my land, with my wisdom. But there was something else. There was something else stirring inside me, something that only I could feel, something that perhaps Iqbal would have understood too if he were alive. Something that kept turning in my mind day and night, like some circle, like some puzzle, like some secret waiting for me to solve it, like some voice that would not be silent. It was my memories, in my memories, that day when Iqbal had told me something. That day when we both sat at the edge of our field. The sun was setting. The wind was growing cool. The fragrance of the earth was dissolving into the air. And Iqbal had pointed his finger toward the earth. He had placed his palm upon the ground, as if he was talking to the earth, as if he was listening to the earth's heartbeat. Zahra, he had said, Have you ever looked carefully at what locusts eat first? I had said no. I had said that I had only seen it once when I was small, but then I had not understood it. Then I had not known what this thing was. They eat first the thing they like the most, like children who reach first for the sweets, like a hungry person who first looks at the bread, like a thirsty person who first runs toward water. Locusts are the same. There are some things they like more, and some things they do not like at all. But how do you know? I had asked. Look, he had said. Just keep looking. Pay attention. Everything on the earth is saying something. You just need to know how to listen. You just need to know how to look. You just need to know how to understand. At that time, I had not given these words much importance. But when Iqbal left, when I was left alone, those words began to turn again and again in my mind, like some voice that will not be silent, like some memory that does not fade, like some light that does not go out. And then that day came, the day I was returning from the bazaar. In my fold of cloth were wheat seeds. I had thought that this time I would sow wheat across all 4 acres, like Iqbal used to do, like all the farmers in our village do, like my father used to do, like my grandfather used to do, like people have done since tribes began. But on the way, I saw something. I saw that outside the village, at the edge of the forest, there was a small field, upon which someone had planted sunflowers, with their long, long stems, with their golden petals, like tiny suns sitting upon the earth, like some painting, like some dream, like some piece of paradise. I stopped there. I asked someone who had planted them. Someone said that some madman had planted them, who had thought that oil would come from them, but now they had just grown wild in the jungle. No one tended them. No one gave them water. Yet they came every year, like some gift, like some sign, like some memory. I looked carefully, and I saw something else too. I saw that beneath the sunflower leaves where the earth was, there was no other crop, only sunflowers, and the earth between them was empty, like some field upon which only one thing had been grown, like some wall upon which only one color existed, like some world in which there was only one thing. And then I remembered something. I remembered what Iqbal had said, that locusts eat first the thing they like the most, that locusts finish first the thing they prefer, that locusts, if they find something they really like, they stop right there, that locusts, if they find something they really like, they do not move forward at all. And I thought that if I planted sunflowers around my fields, what would happen? If I grew these golden flowers along my 4 walls, at the edges of my land, what would happen? Would the locusts eat them first? Would these flowers become a small sacrifice for my wheat crop? Would they become my wall that would protect my crop? Would they become my protection? When some trouble came, would they become my life when some storm arrived? I thought. All night, before my eyes was Iqbal's face, as if he was looking at me, as if he was saying that, Zahra, you know what must be done. You have always known. You are just afraid. You just worry about what people will say. But the earth is yours, and the earth will listen to you. You just need to take one step with courage. You just need to make one decision with a strong heart. Morning came. I had made my decision. From the bazaar, instead of wheat seeds, I bought sunflower seeds. Whatever money I had, I spent more than half on sunflowers, half on wheat. When people saw me returning with sunflower seeds, their faces were worth seeing. Zahra, Uncle Akram called out. His eyes were popping. What are you doing? Do you know that sunflowers bring no benefit? They are only for looking at. No one eats them. No one sells them. They just fly away in the wind. They are just placed in homes for decoration. This is no crop, Zahra. This is just a way to waste time. This is just a way to waste money, yes, Zahra, Aunt Amna said. Poison of bitter words was on her tongue. Have you lost your mind at your age? After Iqbal left, Did you leave your brain behind too? What thought led you to this decision? Do you think these flowers will bring you bread? Do you think these flowers will pay your debts? Do you think these flowers will change your life? Look at this, someone else said. Some new man who was perhaps just passing by. Poor widow. Perhaps she is planting these flowers to make herself happy. Perhaps she thinks this will bring color to her home. But what does a widow know about crops? A widow just keeps crying. A widow just keeps destroying herself. I said nothing. I only smiled and went to my home. That night, sitting in my room, I thought about what people were saying. It did not matter to me. But what I was doing, was it right? Was I wasting my land? Was I destroying Iqbal's labor? Was what I was doing just my own foolishness? Was I only deceiving myself? Was I only destroying my land? But then I heard Iqbal's voice. I heard it in my mind, Zahra. Locusts eat first the thing they like the most. And you know what they like. You have seen it. You have paid attention. Now just take one step with courage. The earth is yours. The earth will listen to you. You just need to make one decision with a strong heart. And I closed my eyes and fell asleep. From the next day, I began my work along my 4 walls, around my field. I sowed sunflower seeds. I gave them water. I watched them. I protected them. Like one protects one's children. Like one protects one's life. Like one protects one's hope. Like one protects one's life. At first, nothing grew. People said, watch. The seeds themselves must be bad. Zahra has wasted her money. Zahra has destroyed her land. This year, she will have nothing at all. This year, this widow will starve. This year, this widow will leave the village. Then tiny seedlings emerged. Green, delicate, like a child's fingers, like the first glimpse of hope, like the first breath of life. People said, okay, the seedlings have emerged. But now what? These are just green leaves. No crop, no fruit, no benefit. Only the seedlings will remain. Only the leaves will remain. Only leaves swaying in the wind will remain. Then the seedlings grew larger. The stems grew longer, like a young girl advancing toward her age. The leaves spread out. They began to sway in the wind. And then, one day, the first flower bloomed. A golden flower, like a tiny sun had descended upon the earth, like a piece of light had stuck to the ground. Like a ray of hope had begun to sparkle in the darkness. Like a piece of happiness had fallen upon the earth. I wept when I saw that flower. I thought that if Iqbal could see this, how happy he would be. How proud he would feel that his Zahra had done this. That his widow had done this. That life was returning to his land again. That color was filling his memories again. That his love was still alive. But people still said the same things. Look, how beautiful they are. Zahra has painted her home with color. But what is the benefit? Will this beauty make bread? Will this beauty pay debts? Will this beauty bring her husband back? Yes, they are beautiful. But what is the benefit? They cannot be eaten. They cannot be sold. They are only for looking at. They are only for praise. They are only for flying away in the wind. Poor thing. Perhaps this is her way of keeping herself happy. She is a woman alone. What can she do? She thought that at least something beautiful would be in her home. At least her 4 walls would have color. At least there would be some smile. These words happened every day when I gave water. People would watch from their windows and talk, like some spectacle, like some drama, like some mockery of a widow's humiliation. Like some living corpse, when I cut grass, people would shake their heads as they passed on the road, as if saying, look, this widow is still acting mad. This widow is still wasting her land. This widow still has not understood what a crop is. When I looked at my flowers, people would say, look, the foolish woman is talking to flowers, as if they were her children, as if they were her life, as if they were her soul. But I was silent. I never said anything because I knew that time would reveal everything. Time, the greatest teacher, who gives the best lesson. who can prove lies to be truth and truth to be lies, who can silence those who mock, who can humble those who humiliate, who can make those who call others foolish feel their own foolishness. And I waited. Months passed, the sunflower flowers bloomed even more. My four walls were now painted in golden color, like some painting, like some dream, like some piece of paradise, like some piece of sun had fallen upon the earth. People still praised them, but behind their praise was the same mockery, the same light mention that Zahra had gone mad. Zahra had wasted her land. Zahra only loves flowers, not crops. Zahra has perhaps forgotten what a crop is. Zahra has perhaps forgotten where bread comes from. I heard their words and kept doing my work. I also nurtured the wheat field inside me, which was growing slowly behind the sunflowers in their shade. I gave it water. I cleared its grass. I protected it, like a mother protects her child, like a sister protects her brother, like a widow protects her husband's trust. But people could not see that. They could only see what was before them. That golden wall, those golden flowers, which they thought were only for looking at, which they thought were only for praise, which they thought were only for the widow's happiness, which they thought were just wasted time. What did they know? What did they know that that wall was alive, that that wall was breathing, that that wall was protecting my crop, that that wall one day would save all their lives, that that wall one day would save all their bread, that that wall one day would save all their lives. And then that day came, the day I had been waiting for, the day I had been waiting for 2 years, the day Iqbal had taught me to wait for, the day my earth had been making me wait for, the day my memories had been making me wait for, the day of the locust swarm. At first, news came that locusts were coming in distant areas, that crops had been destroyed in some villages, that farmers were trying to save their fields. But no one was succeeding, that no one could stop them, that no one could stop them, that this was an immense army that spared no one. People set fire to their fields. They raised smoke. They made noise. They beat drums. They raised voices. They locked their children inside their homes. But the locusts, those locusts who were in the millions, they did not stop for any fire. They did not stop for any smoke. They did not stop for any noise. They did not stop for any prayer. They only stopped for one thing, and that thing was standing along my four walls. When the locust swarm reached near our village, I stood in my courtyard. My eyes were lifted, my breath was held, my palms were wet. The corner of my shawl was in my hand, and my heart was saying that the time had come. Now everyone would see. Now everyone would understand. Now those people who had called me foolish, they would find themselves foolish. Now those people who had humiliated me, they would be humiliated. The first wave came, a sight that makes the tongue fall silent, a sight that the eyes cannot believe, a sight that makes the heart stop. The color of the sky changed. The color of the earth changed. In the air was a golden and black mist that kept advancing, that kept coming closer, that was about to engulf everything in its fury, that was about to devour every living thing. And then it fell upon our village like some storm, like some flood, like some earthquake. Locusts were falling upon everything, upon every leaf, upon every flower, upon every crop, upon every living thing. What was green turned black. What was alive became dead. What was hope was shattered. People were screaming. People were weeping. People were running into their fields. People were coming out of their homes to look. People were hiding with their children in their arms. But nothing could be done. Nothing at all. No smoke could do anything. No fire could do anything. No noise could do anything. No prayer could do anything. I stood at the threshold of my home and watched. I saw that outside my four walls, upon my sunflower wall, locusts were falling in swarms. They went there first. They stopped there first. They began eating there first. Like some hungry person who first looks at their favorite thing. Like some thirsty person who first runs toward water. Like some hungry child who first reaches for sweets. They liked those golden flowers so much that they stopped right there. That they did not want to look at anything else. That for them, the golden wall standing along my four walls, that was the world. That was paradise. That was their food. That was their life. That was their world. And I stood inside, my eyes filled with tears, but these were tears of joy. These were tears of gratitude. These were tears of hope. These were the tears that a mother sheds when she sees her child saved. These were the tears that a widow sheds when she sees her husband's words come true. These were the tears that a woman sheds when she sees her wisdom proven. Because I knew that when this locust swarm devoured my sunflowers, they would move forward. But by then their stomachs would be full, their hunger would be satisfied, their hearts would be content. And my wheat which was hidden behind them, that would remain alive. That would remain green and flourishing. That would remain my life. And that is what happened. 2 hours. 2 hours it took the locust swarm to eat my sunflower wall. 2 hours it took them to finish those golden flowers. 2 hours it took them to destroy that wall. 2 hours it took them to destroy my hope. 2 hours it took them to finish my happiness. But 2 hours later, when they moved forward, their stomachs were full. Their strength had diminished. Their fury had slackened. Their hunger was no longer so fierce. Their hearts no longer wanted so much. Their eyes were no longer so sharp. And when they looked at my wheat field, perhaps they did not like it as much. Perhaps their hearts were already full. Perhaps they felt that enough was enough. Perhaps they felt that this was it. Or perhaps nature had made this decision, that Zahra's labor would not be wasted, that Zahra's hope would not be broken, that Zahra's memories, Iqbal's memories, would be kept alive, that a sign would be left for Zahra, that a lesson would be left for Zahra. When the locust swarm passed, I opened my doors, I came outside, and I saw my sunflower wall had been destroyed. Those golden flowers were now only stems, false teeth like stems, upon which there were no leaves, there were no flowers. There was nothing, only empty stems, only a broken wall, only wounded marks, only lifeless wood, but behind it, behind that broken wall, my wheat stood, green and flourishing, swaying, alive, breathing, smiling, happy, standing firm, like some army that still waves its flag after the enemy's attack, like some wrestler who still stands after falling in the arena, like some woman who still holds her head high after the world's laughter, like some widow who still stands upon her land after all the accusations of every tongue, like some living thing that has returned after escaping the mouth of death. I touched my wheat, I kissed my wheat, and I wept, and then I heard voices, the voices of people, coming toward my house, looking at my field, falling silent when they saw my wheat, astonished when they saw my sunflower's broken wall, their eyes popping open at everything they saw. Uncle Akram came first. Upon his face was the same ashen look, but now in that ashen look there was something else, something that had never been there before, something that was appearing in his eyes for the first time, something that was now shining upon his face for the first time, shame. "Zahra," he said, his tongue was faltering. How did this happen? Your wheat, how is it safe? Ours has all been destroyed. We have nothing left. In our fields there is only earth remaining. But your wheat is still green. Your wheat is still alive. How is this possible? I smiled. Those same sunflowers, I said, which you people called things for looking at, which you called wasted time, which you called foolishness. Those same sunflowers today saved your crops. Those same sunflowers today were about to save your bread. Those same sunflowers today were about to save your lives. What do you mean? Someone asked. How? We are not able to understand, I said. Locusts eat first the thing they like the most. And sunflowers. Sunflowers are their favorite thing. I had planted sunflowers around my field, so that if ever a locust swarm came, they would eat them first. They would finish them first. And my wheat which was hidden behind them, that would remain safe. That would remain alive. That would remain green and flourishing. Silence, a long, deep silence, as if the entire village had lost its tongue, as if everyone had closed their mouths, as if no one had the courage to say anything at all, as if everyone was finding themselves foolish, as if everyone was opening their eyes. Then Aunt Amna came forward. Her eyes were filled with tears. Upon her face was a strange mixture of shame and wonder, as if she was weeping but also happy, as if she was ashamed but also proud. Zahra, daughter, she said, we thought you were foolish. We thought you were mad. We pointed fingers at you. We spat upon your four walls. We humiliated you. But you were the wisest of us all. You saved all our lives. You opened all our eyes. You taught us all a lesson, I said. No, Aunt, I only saved my crop. But if my crop, my wheat, can become bread for all of you, then this is my happiness. This is my success. But this success is not only mine. This success belongs to Iqbal, who taught me all this, who taught me the language of the earth, who taught me to look, who taught me to pay attention. That night, the entire village gathered outside my home. Those people who had first called me foolish were now praising me. Those people who had pointed fingers at me were now falling at my feet. Those people who had said poor widow were now saying that Zahra lady is wise. Zahra lady saved all of us. Zahra lady opened all our eyes. Zahra lady taught us all the wisdom of the earth. But I did not listen to anyone's praise. I only looked at my four walls, along which some sunflower stems still stood, false teeth-like, broken, but still alive, still standing firm in their place, still saying that I had done my work, still saying that I had protected my land, still saying that I had saved my life. I thought that these stems were like me, broken, but alive, wounded, but standing, alone, but courageous, called foolish, but wise, humiliated, but living with pride. And I remembered Iqbal. I said, Iqbal, you had taught me that the earth is like a mother. If you honor her, she will nourish you and help you grow. Today I can say that you were right. Today I can say that the earth has nourished me. Today I can say that the earth has helped me grow. But today I can also say that the earth is not only a mother. The earth is also a teacher. The earth is also a friend. The earth is that companion who never leaves you alone. The earth is that wisdom that pulls you through every difficulty. The earth is that light that shows the way in darkness. And when you understand its golden walls, when you recognize its hidden wisdom, then you understand what the greatest weapon in the world is. That weapon is looking. Looking carefully, looking with thought and understanding, looking with the heart, because sometimes the thing that seems most beautiful is not only beautiful. Sometimes that thing also protects you. Sometimes that thing also saves your life. Like my sunflower wall saved me, like my earth saved me, like my Iqbal taught me, and like today, I am teaching all of you that never think anyone is foolish. Never call anyone's labor wasted. Never call the flowers standing upon someone's four walls only things for looking at, because perhaps those flowers are not only flowers, perhaps they are a wall, a living wall, a wall that stands to save you. You just need to know how to look. You just need to know how to understand. And when you understand, then you too can raise that same wall in your fields, in your homes, in your lives. And when difficult times come, when storms come, when locust swarms come, then you will be happy, because you will know that you have already raised your wall like I did, like Iqbal taught me, and like today This story has reached you, so that you too may learn, so that you too may understand, so that the next time someone plants flowers upon your four walls, you do not think of them as only flowers. Keep that wall safe. Protect that wall, because that wall, perhaps one day, will save your life like my sunflower saved me, like my earth saved me, like my memories saved me, and like today, this story has come to save you. Just remember this, that beauty is not only for looking at. Sometimes beauty is also life, and life is forever. My story ends here, but your story has just begun. Go war your wall, plant your flowers, save your life. Goodbye.